my body features sometimes and doesn't work very well
It's
as a
interesting.
virtual background. Yeah.
Oh, hang on a
So
second. We should still be online. Hopefully, we're still online because according to this, hang on. According to my thing, we just went online. Oh, never mind. We're good. Whew.
I'm watching on Facebook, and it looks like we're still
Yeah. Sometimes
on.
it'll just Sometimes it'll just refresh itself and say offline. I'm like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right.
So we'll see
Oh
what this
wow.
video does. It's about 6 minutes long, and I think it's just gonna loop and loop and loop. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Oh wow. Wait, I recognize that.
no, you don't. You don't know what it is. You have no idea. It's just the California desert. That's all it is. That's
Oh,
what I
that's
put on
true.
there. That's as much detail as I go into. But it is kind of cool because some of the time lapse that you're seeing
Yeah.
now, I actually hooked it up in the windshield of the truck there, and I meant to do just a little bit of time lapse, but then we actually forgot it was on,
Oh.
and recorded a whole ton of time lapse.
Well, that's the crazy part. All these GoPros, like all of them, seem to have crazy good battery life.
Well, when I've got it hooked up in the window, I've actually got it plugged in.
Ah.
Yeah. So, and it actually ended up only being about. I'm using because I thought I would try this first before I started
Yeah.
messing with the settings, but I'm using the GoPro Hero 8's automatic time lapse intervals,
Yeah.
where it
Same
decides
here.
the interval,
Yeah.
and it's phenomenal. It
Yeah.
is really good, and and this was about a minute and 40 seconds worth of time lapse, and I'm not really sure what that equates to in real time, but I think it was at least like 30 minutes or something.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
not that you're necessarily gonna say details, but was it an interesting site or is it just like
No, it was literally garbage. Yeah. Yeah, it was actually garbage. No, it was a typical kind of site that we see out in the east in the Southern California deserts,
Oh
which is
wait,
basically historic trash dump.
interesting. Is this drone footage?
Yeah. So while we were surveying the site, I launched the drone, put it up in the air, and I knew this site crossed the road there,
Yeah.
and because we'd already seen trash on both sides, and while we were doing it, I just let it sit up there
Yeah.
for like 7 6 7 minutes. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
super stable. It's super stable, and I just let it sit up there while we basically surveyed. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool.
So
We're
I
not
kept it
freezing
that
up, are
throughout
we?
the
Because
video.
this thing's freezing up.
So,
Uh oh. Internet.
Zoom might freeze up a little bit, but I haven't seen us freeze up on the. I have seen us freeze up on the Facebook feed a little bit.
Oh, good, because it just went red and then it went yellow and now it's back to green. Wow, this is interesting. It's like managing so many things all at the same time.
Welcome to producing.
I know. Interesting. There's one thing I've been thinking about all week as I've been, because I've been noticing on Facebook and other places, like people saying how much they hate working from home and how much this is so terrible, and they'll be so glad that when they are able to go back to like their regular job and like the
Yeah,
office. But I was
yeah.
thinking, is this crisis like a preview of the way work is going to be in the future when there are no more like manual labor jobs and there are no more like simple jobs where you just like are mindless and you actually have to be motivated and do something, actually like take responsibility for your own work.
Dude, I hope so, man. Because I hope this makes people realize how how much they rely on work for their entire lives, and how they need to find some passions and some hobbies that, where work becomes a means to an end for that. I hope this is what people are finding out. But all these people that are super bored that just want to go back to work, I'm like, really? You just want to go back to work? I mean, I understand even if you love your job, which
Yeah,
I really sincerely hope that a lot of people love their jobs, but I know they don't.
yeah,
But even if you do, you still shouldn't like pin your entire life on that. I mean, come on, you
yeah.
know?
More,
Um,
more importantly, it's just like, I mean, I was just thinking about it because, in Star Trek, the whole point of their economy is that, there's no more money. Therefore, you just work to like for self-fulfillment.
yeah,
It's just like how many people are working in like a warehouse job and they're like, that's all they want to do. They just want to go there, do some mindless job, and then go home and drink beer and then go to bed and then get up and do it all over again. And I'm like,
I really don't understand it.
that's coming to an end at some point. I mean, all these warehouses are gonna be automated pretty soon at the rate they're
Oh
going.
yeah, yeah. I honestly don't understand it, man. I really don't. It's
Cause what was it? I
it's
forget if it
crazy.
was last month or the month before. Obviously, it's been disrupted now, but I know the very first picking, packing, and sorting robots, they're trying them out in Germany as we speak, or were.
Hmm. Yeah.
So like all those like simple jobs are like coming to an end.
Wow. Yeah, I hear you. It's yeah, it's something. I just I don't get it. I don't get it. Even if I mean, people need to pay their bills, but you got to figure out what is your motivation for living. You know what I mean? What is your
Yeah,
motivation for life? And for some people, it's their kids, something like that. And in
yeah.
order to honor that and support them, they obviously need to work. But then they sort of lose sight of the fact that they don't get to spend time or do anything with their kids or family or whoever. They just spend their whole time working. So
And now that they're at home with their
you know,
kids, they're like super bored and they want to like leave. And I'm like, well, then why were you
yeah,
complaining?
yeah, 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 totally. So.
Oh my
Hey, is
god.
there any way you can zoom my video out just a little bit? Because every time I look at it, I'm seeing, I'm just like covering
Oh,
half of
hang
it.
on. Let's
So
see.
I want to see I want to see the background.
Oh wait, well, hang on.
Yeah,
Sort of. I mean, it'll be
there's.
kind of weird looking.
Well, don't stress out over it. Don't make it weird looking. Um,
It is.
just I'm just curious about the format.
Yeah, like for I mean, getting back to what we were talking about, it's like
And we've had,
I've been. Hmm.
yeah, that,
Oh.
yeah.
Hope that looks slightly better ish.
I was just commenting. I can see the changes now happening on Facebook because that looks great. Yeah. So
But thing is, I've been working.
yeah,
Someone on Archeo Field Techs posted something about GIS, and so I went to
yeah.
check out his channel, and I realized that while 100 people or maybe more now had like said, "Oh, this is great," they like thumbs it up. Like no one, no, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think any of those people actually went to watch the videos. And the thing is, he's like offering like his upper level. He's like offering his like upper division level courses and like data for free on the internet. And yet, how many people aren't taking advantage of that?
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people are offering some free stuff on the internet these days.
I know. Well, I saw Team Black
Yeah.
was. I might be wrong.
No, I took everything off. Well, it's still on Patreon, and I've already made a note to all the Patreon subscribers, but we only have like four, and I don't feel right taking money from them every month anymore. And to be honest, I've done the research on this, and I
Yeah.
cannot figure out how to switch my Patreon tiers to a per video
Oh.
subscriber level because I subscribe to a Patreon account per video. So each video they upload, I pay $5 for at a
Yeah.
maximum of $20 a month, and it just bills me at the end of the month for however many videos they uploaded. Typically, they're one a week. I think it's $5. It might be $3, whatever level I'm
Ah.
at. Anyway, uh, I'm what am I saying? Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to switch that because my Patreon subscribers on Team Black are paying monthly regardless. And since I
Ah.
haven't been able to put out the videos, I'd be
Yeah.
more than happy to put out more videos, but I just don't have time to research and record the videos. That's the problem. Editing is no
Ah.
problem.
Yeah.
Research and recording is what takes all the freaking time. So I just don't
Oh
have it.
man, you're telling me. I mean, right now I should have enough videos to basically upload once a week through July. But I'm realizing, man, if we don't like, if we're under like effectively like lockdown for like much longer, it's just like, man, am I going to be able to get out there and record any more videos at the rate we're going?
Right.
I mean, I was
Well,
actually trying to. Oh, you were saying?
that's our issue too. We've got enough video to probably keep releasing for the next like I think 5 or 6 weeks. But after that, we're not going to have anything.
I was actually like, it's a long story, but I had been thinking about doing a review of my favorite piece of fuel gear that I don't bring out with me anymore, which is my my leather jacket, my Indiana Jones
Yeah,
one. And
yeah,
then originally I was thinking, I'd go out there and try to replicate like some of the beginning scenes, but then I realized that's not going to work because I don't want to go outside unless I have to.
right, right, right.
And now I've been thinking, man, how can I do that inside? And this is when I wish my apartment wasn't so small.
Yeah, I thought about making some videos inside here too, and I was like, man, I could fly the drone around my house. I've got some spaces where I can do that, but my drone won't take off here because I'm in the flight path of the airport.
Oh God, they're probably much more strict about that now.
Well, it doesn't matter. The drone it's automatic, so they put a bubble around the airport, and if the drone senses you're inside of it, then you can't take off unless you have special FAA permission, and you can apply for it inside the app. I've just never done it. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's another thing I want to do. Like, there's so much stuff I want to do. Like, I mean, I've been seeing the first questions on Facebook. Like, what are you gonna do when we're like, no longer locked down? Like, one of those things I really wish I had done before I'd gone
Yeah.
out, because I didn't realize that Reno was gonna be shut down by the time I got back. Was I wish I had gone out to my favorite bar one last time,
Right.
because I was like so busy getting ready. I'm like, yeah, I'll just do when I get back. And of course, by the time I got back, it was closed.
Well, I do know one thing you can do, Richie, and I haven't
Yeah,
told you this yet, but there's a survey that has not come out yet, but they do want to do it at a familiar location that you and I have been to several years in a row.
yeah.
Um, it's what is it, 1,200 acres, give or take, or something like that. I can't remember how many acres it is, but there's a survey to do out in Oko.
Ooh,
And again, she hasn't come out with uh, actually requesting a proposal. I've given her a back of the envelope sort of calculation how much it would cost, and I think they want it done this summer. So there's
ooh,
that. But then also, our mutual friend Alan
yeah.
won a 3,000 acre survey.
Wait, he actually won it?
He won it. Yeah, that one we were talking about down near
Wow.
Mojave, California, and they're going to want that started within the next few months. And I told him it probably wouldn't be before June, and he said, "Yeah, of course," because he can't do anything before June right now.
Oh
So
my God. I feel like, it's interesting. That actually brings to mind one thing, because I know that I was listening to the CRM Arc podcast, and that, one of your hosts was mentioning that her company is still sending people out. And then I saw on Instagram that, a bigger company is not sending people out. And I think
yeah,
it's just interesting to, like, how companies are reacting to this, and whether companies are choosing not to send people out, or like, well, we have to do this because, we have
yeah,
to. And I'm like,
right.
how do you even make that calculus? Like, how would you make it if you,
I well, I mean, I think I would have to choose how we did that by really by just safety. Like I would never, I wouldn't put a big crew out there right now, but I would put 3 or 4 people out there depending on the conditions in the environment. For
Yeah.
example, one of the reasons I'm specifically thinking of you, if
Yeah.
this comes down and we're still supposed to be socially isolating and stuff like that, is for the both the projects that I told you about.
Yeah.
I think we'll end up. Rachel's going to come on them too, and I think we'll end up buying a camper trailer at the very least, if not
Ooh,
a full size Class A RV, depending on what we
cool.
can afford. So,
Yeah.
um, but at the very least, we'd probably pick up a camper trailer. And I know you have camping ability and desire as well.
Of course.
And I don't know if your trailer is usable or
Well,
what condition that's in. Um,
oh, wait, that, because I know someone wanted to buy it, and I was like, man, maybe
I
I can
know,
combine the two things.
I know. You could sell that and then buy a new one. So,
Interesting.
um, yeah,
Because
have
I
you
have
guys
been
connected on
seriously,
that?
well, I mean, I have been seriously looking, because obviously one of the reasons why all these I'm abandoning my like camper van Argentina, videos have been coming up is because I have been looking at it. And it's crazy what you can do. Like, between the time I bought my camper and now, the technology and like the price of like these camper conversions for like regular size minivans and regular size small delivery vans is like, it's improved like 1,000%. Like, I'm like just
Mm-hmm.
like shocked at how much easier it is. I personally like credit Instagram for making van life like popular, because it's just like, like I have a buddy who's in Utah, and she was like, saying she couldn't live out of a van, blah blah. She needs all this space, so she ended up buying a pretty sizable one. But I'm like, I look at how much space I use here, and it's just like I don't really use much more than the couch and my desk.
Exactly, right? Once you
Yeah,
really look at the space you use and the space you use consistently, that's why I'm really enforcing this environment that I've got up here. Is like we
yeah,
just don't need. We're only going down into the kitchen just so we can cook and stuff, and I can do that in
yeah,
any size kitchen, right? I
yeah.
mean, we mostly use our instant pot and maybe some stuff on the stove a little bit, and that's pretty much it. So there's nothing we couldn't do in a much smaller setup. The only thing you have to really watch is, of course, water consumption, gray water and black water tanks, and then storage space for food and stuff like that. You might have to buy food a little more often
Yeah,
because you might not have as much space. But
true.
anyway, speaking of these projects and speaking of the safety protocols,
Yeah,
like for example, both of these would probably be camping projects, and it would probably be because I have realized from that last project that I did with you that
Yeah.
if I'm going to keep doing this job, this other job that I'm doing with DoneSafe, I cannot be in the field. Like it just didn't work. Right. There was that one day I got super stressed out because I'm on a call and they
Yeah.
couldn't hear me because it was windy and I was
I
just getting
remember
really
that.
frustrated. I mean, it was a frustrating situation. It was a frustrating client, and
Yeah.
it was just all around not good. And I was like, okay, Rachel's willing to be out in the field and do stuff. If I can be in the camper trailer and I have internet access and I can still
Ooh.
do, or at least phone access, and I can still do phone calls, I can
Yeah.
still do demos, I can still work and do my stuff. And then when you guys get done at the end of the day, I can then shift over and spend, an hour or so taking care of the records from the day and
Ooh.
planning out the next day's surveys and really just keeping logistics in my head because I'm still going to be responsible for the project. So I feel
Yeah.
like I need to be responsible for logistics. And at least I don't have to make up every single plan, but I at least
Yeah.
have to make sure the plan is something that is keeping us on schedule, right? Um, so so I could do that and then stay there. Now, as far as safety protocols go, I would run a project like that with I think no more than 3 people in the field. If we only need one crew, I want crews of 3. Crews of 4 are just too big.
Yeah.
Because when you get down to site recording, there's not enough. It's a waste of money. It really is a
Yeah.
waste of money. I mean,
There's always
I'd
someone
rather
standing
have
around.
there's always someone standing around, and I would rather have 3 people taking a day longer to do the survey, which I'd be surprised if it was even a day longer, but a day longer to do the survey, and because you always make up for that time on site recording with three
Oh
people
yeah.
versus 4. So, but what I would do is I would say one of two things. I would say, okay, if you're staying in a hotel room, and I would probably have to compensate people a little higher on per diem for this, but it would be worth it. But I would be like, if you're staying in a hotel room, then you're driving your own vehicle out, and we're driving.
Ooh.
Each person is driving their own vehicles onto the project area. Nobody's
Yeah.
sharing a vehicle, and you're also either camping or if there are hotel rooms open, you're staying there and you're commuting out to the project on your own,
Yeah.
and not putting in people in vehicles anymore. I was starting to get uncomfortable with 4 of us in a vehicle near the end of that project, just
Yeah.
because things were getting so crazy so rapidly. And and to be honest, for the safety of everybody involved, I don't know what you did at night. I don't know what our other crew member did at night. You guys didn't know what Rachel and I did at night.
Yeah.
Where do we go? Who are we exposing ourselves to? Are we being careful? I don't want people to have to worry about that. So
Uh,
I would make sure that we don't share a vehicle. And because of that, when you're going out actually into the field, both
yeah.
vehicles need to be fully equipped. And if you're going on a mine, like if you're bringing, that's why I would want you on there because I know your
Yeah.
Tacoma is just like my Tacoma.
Yeah.
So,
You know.
um, but we would need to get you a light. A flag is no longer required on that
Ooh.
one mine,
Oh
but
wait,
you would need to
really?
have a, yeah, totally. Um, it's not required for contractors. It is for regular mine vehicles, but since we have to
Ah.
be escorted by the mine, it's not required. So you need your
Cool.
lights and you need chocks.
Oh,
And
I
I
got
would buy
chalks.
those. Yeah, well, I would buy them if you didn't have them.
Oh.
And uh, anybody who
Cool.
I had come out there, I would have them do that. And I would say, listen, if you guys want this project done
Yeah.
during this time period, then these are the safety protocols that we're going to have to put in place, and you're just going to have to deal with it. So, um,
By the way, did you see that post? Was it Archeo Field Techs or the other one where that dude was asking, "Is it safe for me to drive?" Or was it was it
yeah,
Louisiana or Georgia all the way to North Dakota
I saw
or
that.
South
I was
Dakota? And
like,
I'm like, my God, that is the crazy. Like, what company would even think that that was like all right
I
now?
know, I know. Well, he might be just shovel bumming and moving from one place to the next. I don't know if the company was asking him to do that. I think he just took
Well,
the
that's
job.
true.
Yeah.
Whew.
The bigger question is that company monitoring the safety protocols? I'll take this minute to mention Amy on our chat here.
Yeah.
She said she worked on a 2-person crew, survey crew twice last week, and many safety protocols were followed, even with just the 2 of them, which is good. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
take this stuff lightly, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh, speaking of companies, now I'm thinking about it. I remember years and years ago when you first started up Dig Tech, you were like saying that, you don't really need an office. Like project managers and stuff like that, you can just do everything online. And
hmm
you can have meetings online and obviously you can just do all your paperwork at home. And so many companies resist that just on basic principle. They need to come into the office. They need people to come in the office so they can pop their head in and like talk to you or whatever
right,
people do. And it's just like,
yeah,
will this crisis finally make companies see that maybe they don't need like a whole floor of an office building, that like cost a lot of money when it's just like a lot cheaper just to use Zoom and, all this other stuff? Or will companies just like be the same way they were with electronic paperwork?
Well, I mean, I think for this new work attitude to stick, I think
Yeah.
honestly that this would have to be we'd have to have this lifestyle for the next year. Honestly, I think that's how
Yeah.
it would be. Just a couple months is an inconvenience, but 6, 7, 8 months is a lifestyle change, and I think people would just get used to it. Now, some businesses obviously can't function without people going to those businesses,
Yeah.
like restaurants, things like that. I mean, you just need people there.
Yeah.
But a lot of businesses that are office based and a lot of people work in those types of businesses, I think they will
Yeah.
realize that hey, we don't really need this full time, and maybe. But my thought was, if I ever got to the point, and I just made a
Yeah.
conscious decision that I didn't really want to do this a long time ago. But if I ever got to the point where I had expanded my CRM firm and I had full staff, that we would basically still just probably rent office space and
Ah.
but something in like a co-working facility where maybe if most of us are in the same town, maybe we meet up like
Yeah.
once a week or something like that, and then maybe once every 3 months or so we had like a quarterly retreat or something where we all got together and did some brainstorming just to have that
Ah.
FaceTime with each other.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, when that one company that I got, the last company I ever worked for that I got laid off from, that we
Yeah.
both worked at. I mean, that was where it really came full circle for me, and I really realized what was going on
Yeah.
when I accidentally saw on the company servers the invoice for the space that they had rented, and it was
Yeah.
$6,000 a month. They're bitching about per diem and buying new pin flags and doing maintenance on the vehicles, and yet they're paying $6,000 a month on
Yeah.
leasing a space that they don't need,
And
just so people can come in and sit there.
more importantly, like that was at the point where they had that big giant annex where I had my office.
Yeah,
And it's just
yeah,
like, I'm like literally the only person here. And like this office is big enough, like this annex I'm in is big enough for like 20 people.
right. People always say that they need offices, to do their work. But really, I think most of the time an office is only used to keep tabs on employees. And
Exactly.
what I hope is that people find out that they can still trust their employees to get the work done. And if they can't trust their employees, we've got 6 million people out of work. Go find
Yeah.
someone you can trust.
Yeah. I mean,
You
there's
know?
probably more than that, but
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
Ethan on our Facebook page here has said his office has transitioned to doing virtual lunches and happy hours, and Gunsafe
ooh.
has done the same thing once every Thursday night.
Yeah.
Shoot, my Zoom just signed out. How did that
Oh,
work?
wait, really? Oh, shoot. Because you're still coming in on this side.
I know, but it also just signed me out. How does that even work? Uh,
Interesting.
yeah. Anyway,
Huh. Well, it's still working.
um, it is still working. Well, I'll just sign it back in. So,
Huh.
anyway, yeah. So they have two things. They have
Yeah.
a lunch because they usually do lunch, and it's actually Friday in Australia, but it comes out as Thursday night for us. Um,
Ah.
but they used to do lunch every Friday, I think, as a group, and I don't know if that means they go out somewhere or if they have it brought into the office because there's a lot of people that work in the office. But now somebody set up, they're just hanging out for a while and doing lunch. And I've done that a few times with my Civil Air Patrol squadron. I'll just set up a Zoom randomly, like I did it this week on like Tuesday. And I said, hey, I'm going to be on at noon. If anybody wants to come in and just have a chat, and talk, then that's great.
Ooh.
Let's just hook up and say hi to each other. Um, and just do that. And thinking of those things from a social standpoint is
Yeah.
really what this new world is all about, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's interesting because, I went, there's like my favorite bar back in the Bay Area, which obviously I'm not going to go to anytime soon. And, they had a virtual kind of DJ night because Saturday night used to be their traditional DJ night, and so they had the
sure.
DJ on just like doing a live stream, which I
Hmm.
thought was really cool.
That is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
I
kind
mean,
of stuff that people should be doing, you know?
oh, it's also interesting, like, how many places around town are still trying to stay open. Like, I know Brewers Cabinet's offering 6 for 6.
Are they?
Yeah. So like
Six for six what?
6 beers to go, basically.
Jesus.
Yeah. You know.
Man, who are they delivering through? Themselves or are they using somebody else?
Oh, I think you just have to go there. Because I know a lot of companies in town are just really pissed off at Uber and Postmates, especially since they're not lowering their fees at all,
Right, right.
and they were never
Well,
very good to begin with.
I mean, they're not lowering their fees, but business is better than no business, right?
True, but the thing I didn't really appreciate
Yeah.
about Postmates is that A, they started out doing something else, and
Hmm.
B, they review bombed like a bunch of my favorite restaurants because they wouldn't use Postmates, and I'm like, that's terrible. Like
Yeah.
good restaurants, and I'm like, God, Postmates just pisses me off.
Man, maybe for dinner we're gonna have to get we'll have to get some beers and the tater tots. You had the tater tots
Ooh.
there?
Oh wait, I think they're only doing Brothers Barbecue.
Ah, come on. The tater. Have you had the tater tots at Brewers
Of
Cabinet in
course,
Reno?
of course.
Jesus.
Right up until this whole town shut down, I was going there like on Thursday just to get food.
Wow, you should have told me that because I would totally join you in that.
And the crazy part is
It's
that if I had known that everything was going to go crazy, I might have not gone as often,
right,
saved a little
right.
money. It's just like, man,
Yeah. Hey,
it's
Amy on Facebook here says that in a previous job they worked from home, but had an accountability hour once a week where you could just
ooh,
log in and have a Zoom on in the background in case they had any questions or something like that. I like that. I like that.
yeah, so do
You know,
I.
if I had staff and employees, I would if I and I wasn't running meetings all day,
Yeah,
I probably would just like turn on my Zoom and just leave it sitting on, and then
ooh,
that way anybody could just pop in, just like walking into my office. You know, they could just
yeah,
pop into my Zoom and ask me a question real quick. You don't have to have your video on. You don't
yeah,
even have to have your sound on, but you'll hear the ding dong when somebody comes in. Then you can turn everything on and say, "Hey, how you doing?" It's not like they're just gonna, pop in and catch you doing something you probably shouldn't be doing.
yeah.
It's that'd be
You
really
know,
cool.
you
So,
know what's interesting? Now that I've been thinking about it, it just popped to my mind. Oh God, now it just popped out again. Oh shoot. Oh well. Well,
yeah,
oh wait, I was thinking about all these jobs lately that have been popping up where you're just like you're not really doing anything. You're just doing the usual field tech stuff, and yet now if you try to submit your resume, they say only master's degree students need to apply, and I'm like, man, this is like the worst sort of degree inflation because you're not really getting your money's worth.
right. Well,
You know, because the way I look
I'm
at it is, if you're gonna get your master's degree, you'd either be better be aiming for upper management or starting your own company. Like if you're just gonna be field teching with a master's degree, is it like it's a terrible trade off in terms of return on investment.
right.
Even some of those online programs that supposedly seem to be a bit more reasonably priced.
Right.
Ha.
Yeah, yeah, I know. To me, honestly, a master's degree in archaeology, even though I have one, I'll fully admit this. It The only thing I think it really does is
Yeah.
it gives you a little bit more credibility if you're trying to do certain things. If you plan on just staying in CRM and
Yeah.
moving up in CRM, then it will allow you to move up. Don't get me wrong. It will allow
Yeah.
you to get a position that you may not have been eligible for before, but your increase in pay, if that's the only thing you're concerned with, if you're only concerned with an increase in pay, it's not going to help that much. And by
No.
the time you're done paying off your student loans, I mean, you're going to be so far down the road that it's not even a thing. But here's the thing: if you
Yeah.
plan on writing books, or if you plan on
Ooh.
even writing a blog, or having a YouTube channel where it's educational, or
Yeah.
doing anything else, um, that master's degree, that MA or MS behind your name,
Yeah.
actually adds credibility to what you're doing to the outside world,
Which is
and
super.
that might, yeah,
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say that's super ironic because that's the only reason I was actually thinking about going back for an MA. But it would definitely be one of those online ones. Like I definitely would not go into like into
yeah.
like I wouldn't go to UNR or anything like that.
Right, right. Well, for most people, the online ones just work out better these days.
Yeah,
Just from a schedule standpoint. So,
that too.
um,
In
yeah,
fact, if I was gonna spend money on anything, I'd probably just spend it on like learning how to be a better editor.
right. I mean, that's the kind of stuff you got to look at what you're, and that goes full circle to what we were talking about at the beginning. We were here about so many
Yeah,
people realizing that they're tied to their jobs so much. I mean, now is the time, especially if you're unemployed. Now is the time. If you're picking up unemployment, shut
yeah,
off Netflix for a couple hours a day and turn
yeah,
on YouTube and go learn something for free. You know,
yeah,
you don't have to spend money on a course to do something. Um, if you're willing to do the work and find some resources out there and learn a new skill, that skill also isn't going to bring you money right away. Like any skill, you've got to learn it and practice it and get good at it.
Yeah.
But now is the time to do that. All those people that said they don't have time, now is the time to do that.
And I feel like, it also says a lot about people who were basically just fooling themselves, in terms of not having time as opposed to not having the will or the drive.
Yeah, yeah,
Because, like, literally this morning, the first thing or not necessarily this morning, but yesterday morning, the first thing I did when I got up was just, like, start editing.
right, right.
And even though today's supposed to be, like, my day off, I was actually going to at least have the computer do a few things, like stuff that I don't necessarily need to watch it for, like, optimizing video and making proxies when I'm doing video.
Right. The only way Sundays are usually a day off for me, if I consider day off a thing, um, is it's the one day of the week, unless I have something else going on. But I often don't, for whatever reason, on Sundays,
Yeah?
have something in the morning that I need to do. So I use that opportunity to just not set an alarm and wake up
Ah.
whenever I wake up. Usually I'm still up by like 6:30, unless we stayed up late the night before. But um,
Yeah.
it's the one day a week I just don't set an alarm. But I really don't see
Oh.
the need or any reasons for a day off to begin with, because I like doing what I'm doing. I was editing a podcast before this call, and I'll be editing a podcast after this call. So, you know, because tomorrow I head back
Yeah?
into Dunsafe, and I take on a big. I onboard a big client tomorrow, one of our biggest
Ooh.
ones in the United States here anyway,
Yeah?
and that's going to take up a lot of my work time for the next few weeks. So, but I'm looking forward to that because it's a new
Yeah.
challenge. I really like.
Ah.
It's really is project management on steroids, man. I mean, you've got to manage not only through that company's system, because these big companies, these corporations, they have their
Yeah?
own systems in place, and you have to work within those. But you also have to train them in your system, and keep all this going. So it's yeah, it can be daunting, but I like it. I like the challenge. So
Ah. It's interesting. Amy had an interesting comment. Although,
yeah,
see, field tech here with an MA, but if you need to gain experience, it's the way to go. Depends on what kind of experience, though.
I think she just means archaeology experience, because she said she didn't attend a field school, so she's trying to
Ah.
get experience as an archaeologist. But she says she has an MA, but not in archaeology, and that really is what I'm talking about here, though, is having an MA in an archaeology or anthropology related field,
Yeah.
and trying to get that as a way to increase your income. That's
Yeah.
really what the whole deal is here, um, because the difference between an MA and a BA in archaeology, it's a chance to obviously move up a little bit, like we said, and it is a chance to boost your income just a little bit. But like I said earlier, I don't think the difference in income is offsets the amount of money you pay for that degree, unless you got it for free. I don't think it offsets the amount of money it costs you to get that degree, because unless you stay in archaeology for the rest of your life, which maybe you will, maybe you won't, but
Yeah.
if you don't end up really high up on the totem pole, or working for an engineering firm where you're going to be making a lot more money, and hopefully not spending all that money, but making more money anyway, then
Yeah.
it's just not going to give you the boost that you think it is. But like I said, if you plan on doing other stuff related to the field that's more educational or something like that, it
Yeah.
can give you the credibility, and credibility gets you eyeballs on your stuff, and eyeballs equals money. So,
That's true.
um,
Although I
yeah,
will admit, some of the videos I've been watching, like, it's I didn't realize there's a whole subgenre of the because obviously I'm trying to do this new series where like I take you to archaeology sites. I didn't realize there was a whole subgenre called urbex, which is like urban exploration, and it's just people. It's literally just people just like taking a video camera and going places. And I was watching, my God, I was watching the most boring one where he was literally just walking through a mall, and he wasn't even like talking about anything. He was just literally just talking to his guy. It was just like a regular random conversation, and I'm like, this has 500,000 views,
yeah, yeah,
and I'm like, dude, like he doesn't know anything. He literally just has a camera and he's walking through this abandoned mall that's not even, according he later reveals in the video, it's not even really abandoned. They're just rebuilding most of the attractions, but there are still workers there, like working on the rides and stuff, and there's still like office workers, and I'm like. So basically, he just took us like walked us through a mall
right,
with
right,
not a lot of people. I'm like, my God, it
right.
almost makes it's very discouraged. It's on the one hand encouraging because hopefully people will enjoy the content I'm going to be start releasing at the end of the month, but also
Hmm.
almost makes me wonder if maybe I'm doing too many nerdy things on my videos and maybe I should do less.
Dude, it's all about finding the audience, man.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is Amy commented here and says that her degree is actually in visual anthropology and ethnographic
Ooh.
documentary. And I'll tell you what, that is a fantastic thing to have a degree in, because
Yeah,
that is the visual medium that we're trying to do here on things like YouTube. And
yeah,
you don't need to get in with a school and produce a, History Channel documentary or something like that.
no,
I mean, if you just put out consistent good content and you have the background and know how to do that,
yeah.
you need to help somebody help you edit, or take this time to learn how to edit videos if you don't already know how. But and
Ooh.
not only edit videos, but put videos together too, and know how to do those shots that actually look good on camera.
Oh
But
yeah.
um, but having that kind of background, I don't know what you learned in that sort of degree, but having that kind of background hopefully allows you to be a better science communicator. And science communication is one of the biggest problems we have in every single field of science.
Oh my God,
So
yes. Like
yeah, the ability to put out good content like that, you just have to be consistent.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, what was I thinking? When I went to San Francisco State, that was one of the things they were known for, actually.
Yeah,
Like yeah, because they had a really, really, really big film department and like an anth degree in it, basically.
right.
But speaking of science communication, you know what I've learned? Like I've learned so many
Mm.
depressing things this week. Like I've learned that coronavirus is only activated by 5G, and that and that they're making us stay home so that they can install the rest of the 5G towers and make the rest of us sick.
Yeah, because that makes sense. Why would people want to install towers to make us all sick? Because they wouldn't make any money at it.
And more importantly, I've
Yeah,
also learned that Steve Jobs, as advocate, was saying that the planet is overpopulated and maybe we shouldn't, have as many children as we do. And then, I've seen memes linking that to like the coronavirus vaccine they're trying to develop, and they're trying to make it the Bill Gates like murder vaccine or something. And I'm like, man.
right.
And then I watched a crazy, crazy, crazy interview on from CNN today where some woman was saying that she doesn't care. She's going to go to church anyway because she's covered in the blood of Jesus Christ. And I'm like,
Wow, wow.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah,
And then we
yeah.
wonder how we got the president we got. It's just like, I mean,
It's
is he
insane.
really, maybe he's the president we deserve during the crisis we deserve.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, man. All right.
Oh, cool. Through the USC Film School. That's cool.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. So Amy's saying here she got her did her coursework through film school at USC. That's pretty cool.
Wow. I mostly got my editing and like filming, chops from watching too many movies, specifically old ones.
I mean, honestly, if you pay attention to the technical side of things, you can learn a lot. You
Yeah.
know, I'll often watch a movie and forget what the plot even is, because I'm trying to sit there and figure out how they got that shot.
Yeah.
What did they have to do to get that shot? Where did the camera have to be? What did the lighting look like? How many times did they have to shoot it a certain scene in order to get what they need? I think
Yeah.
about that kind of stuff all the time. So I think
Oh
that
my
helps.
God. Like it's actually ruined like some of the channels I used to follow, because I used to
Yeah.
think, wow, this person has really good editing, but since I've started like really, really, really getting back into it, suddenly I'm like, that's not that good. I mean, it's good,
Yeah.
like if you're not paying
Yeah.
attention, but if you're paying really close attention, like I am, like I'm not even like listening to what they're saying anymore. I'm literally just watching for the cuts to
Right.
see how they're doing
Right.
it, and I'm like, ugh, not
Yep.
so great. It is
Yeah.
interesting. So you got anything else?
Not really. That's about it for me, man. I know we've been going about an hour now. It's
Yeah,
uh, probably time to
cause
kill it. I got to figure out how to get Zoom to recognize things like my microphone and stuff like that, so it doesn't cut it out.
I bet it's because it's black. Maybe.
It might be. It might be. If I had a green screen, I could specifically key out the green screen, but I don't have a green screen on me.
Oh my God, that's the other thing I was thinking of, getting a green screen, just so I can film around
Yeah.
here and pretend I'm like somewhere. It's interesting. One of my favorite hiking YouTubers, was giving a talk, and he was like thought it was hilarious that people think he's green screen. He green screens himself on all these hikes, and I'm like, that is like the craziest thing I've ever heard
Yeah. Yeah.
of.
Nice. Nice. So,
Anyway,
all right.
see, so if you don't have anything else, and I don't have anything else, then I will put up the end screen. I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to. We're probably still gonna be able to hear each other. I might be wrong. Get ready for me to be
All
wrong.
right. Let me just